That's recording. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Alrighty. And 1, 2, 3. Bon dia.
Bon dia.
Well, back for episode 2 in the season, and we need to talk about food.
Food.
Quite frankly. So,
Yes.
one
Lots of food.
one of your more popular posts this summer was about food, and it was a conversation that you and I had that spilled
Goodness.
that spilled over from the dinner table to Facebook, and that was whether a hot dog is a sandwich.
Oh my goodness. That was hysterical. I'm sorry. It was really hysterical. And I have to say thank you to everyone who chimed in and gave their...
And agreed with me.
You won. Okay? How many times do I have to say that? I have to say it many times.
This is the first time you've said it since the conversation came up that I won.
I've said it many times.
Not loud enough. Not loud enough.
He's right. He was right. I was wrong. Okay, let's get this on. We have it on film.
Again, please? One more time?
I was wrong. You were right.
All right, so...
Okay. You win.
Here's how we'll live. Here's how we'll live. All right. A hot dog is a sandwich. Don't tell me because the slit in the bun is vertical or what it's a sandwich.
Yeah.
But it's a special sandwich and you don't use the word sandwich. It's like BLT. You don't say a BLT sandwich. I'll have a BLT. All right.
Okay.
It's special.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
But sandwich is implied.
Okay.
Listen, you've lost. So
I know I lost. I know.
The least you could do is agree with
I
me
know.
with gusto.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, but now that you've got that,
I've got
then you went one step further, and I did not go into discussion on it. But then the next day, after everybody unanimously, the majority, not unanimously, the majority of people were like, yes, Bob is right. It's meat between two pieces of bread.
A lot of smart people out there.
Then he starts saying, well, does that mean that cereal is soup?
All right. So let's put some...
Okay.
It is, but here's the context. So I went down the rabbit hole of is a hot dog a sandwich, and I found that there's a podcast that's called Is a Hot Dog a Sandwich?
Oh, I don't remember you telling me that.
And so they've got a ton of episodes, and one of them is cereal soup.
Cereal is not soup.
It is, sister. It is.
Oh boy, here we go again.
It is. It's a liquid with stuff in it you eat with a spoon out of a bowl. It's soup.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. Cereal and milk is not soup.
What makes soup soup to you?
Not cereal.
Okay. You just,
Oh boy.
You're just going to have to give it up.
I'm going to have to give it up. I'm going to have to give it up.
Moving along. Moving along.
Yes.
All right, so speaking of food.
Oh, okay.
So, book 2,
Yes.
you've been cooking
Oh,
all summer.
Yeah, I really have.
All
been.
summer.
Yeah.
And the way the day flows is you wake up, you start looking over your recipes.
Yeah.
We make sure you have the ingredients you need for the day.
Yep.
And then cook all afternoon, write all night.
And then the next day, pictures and all of that stuff. If they're winners.
They're long days.
Yeah.
12, 18-hour days.
And the good thing is I have a neighbor that I'll give her a call and say, hey, I've got some stuff you want to test. And they've been fantastic. And then I have my sisters and my nieces and nephews that I've also, especially with breads, give them a call, and either I drop it off at their houses or, they come by and pick it up to test. And friends, also other friends of mine that I've, been dropping things off at their house because we can't eat everything that I make.
And sometimes we need to make it 2 or 3 times to get the
Yes,
recipe right, because that's the other key. That
yes.
Maria cooks every recipe
Yeah.
to make sure the recipe works, and
Yeah.
then tweaks it to make sure it tastes right.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
doesn't happen with a lot of cookbooks, we've found out. That
No.
A lot of times people are
No.
just sourcing the recipes from wherever and compiling them into a list. But these are all authentic to us.
Yeah, they're family recipes. So what's funny is, and I think I've mentioned it before, when my mom was alive, I never really knew she wrote anything down. When she passed away, it's not like we cleaned out the house when she passed away, because my dad was still alive and was still living at the house. So we, with some things we cleaned out, but we did not do a thorough, getting rid of so many different things. So when my father passed away, that is when we went through every drawer, every closet, to clean everything out. And that is when I found the 3-ring spiral binder that was my mom's. And so there are some family recipes written out there. She worked in a factory. So the women are there, they're talking about what they're going to be cooking for dinner or what they're going to be making or whatever the case may be. So there's recipes that is a recipe from Signora Teresa and a recipe from Signora Rosa and a recipe from, Diolinda and all of these friends of theirs. But then she would make them for us. So yes, it was something where I remember having these dishes and not even knowing that was a friend of hers that shared it with her, and now she's making it for us. So it was one of those things, and it's a lot. And of course, it's all written in Portuguese. And for the most part, there are sometimes no measurements. Sometimes no directions, just a list of ingredients, and then with a small little note on it, and for example, it's this much in sugar, this much in flour, a small bowl, a small chala. Well, how big is a chala? There's big challah, small challahs, medium, small. There's different sizes of a challah. So it's and you put it in the oven until it's done. So it's so you have to take that, you've got to work with it, and then there are some methods of certain things that they make that makes no sense at all. It makes no sense. So I've got to look at it and then go, okay, how do you make this so that it comes out the way it should be coming out? And so it's a lot of that, but I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. I enjoy being around her handwriting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's pretty special.
Yeah.
So is this going to be laid out the same way as book 1? Similar? Different? What are you thinking?
It goes back and forth, and we have, like I said, we've got someone who's going to be laying out the book for me soon. I just told them, I've got a few more, I've got a handful, and then it's all yours, and then we're going to figure out the formatting of how I want it set up. And so I don't know if I want to do the basic of the usual meats, poultry, vegetables. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm going back and forth on how I want to distinguish it and how to make it a little different. But it's really wonderful. And right now, and I think you're right. I think I might have enough to do 2 books.
I think you have enough for 2 books.
Because I have over 265 pages right now. It's a lot. It's a lot of pages. It's a lot of pages.
It's a lot of pages.
It's a lot of pages. So it's, yeah, I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm really excited about it. Because I knew I was going to do well, no, I can't say I knew I was going to do a second one. I thought I was going to do one for my family, and that was it. But then with everything else, it was okay, I got to write more. I've got to, because my girls can't read in Portuguese. I can. They can't. So it's, rewriting things so that they know how to make things that my mom would make. And by doing that, it's and people asking me, where's the second book? Where's the second book? And I really thought I was going to do a dessert book. I really did. That is the honest to goodness truth. because for every one recipe of food, I have 5 desserts. I mean, I think my whole family is sweet tooth galore.
Yes.
You know, and and I've said this before. We used to take pictures of tables of food and tables of dessert. We were going through my mom and dad's pictures, and there are pictures of food, but not people who were at the party having the food. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Again, you baked some great things this summer.
I did.
Some delicious cakes.
Yeah.
Some really simple to me.
Yeah.
You know, they seem pretty simple.
Yeah.
I think you did some pork dishes that were great.
Mm-hmm.
Today you made
a codfish dish.
Codfish dish.
Yeah.
That'll be dinner. So looking forward to. I know that'll be good. So.
Well, we don't know. We haven't tasted it yet.
It'll be good. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm just like, did you make anything? I'm sure the answer is yes. Did you make anything that you hadn't had since like your mom was alive?
Yes. Yes.
And did it end up tasting the way you remembered it?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
So that's hard.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, you know, when I am cooking, and I know I've heard this from many other people who are cooking and they're making a dish or a meal that was their mom's or their dad's or someone that they love, that they remember it being with them while they were doing it. When you, food, I always say, is a great, almost like time machine.
Mm-hmm.
So that when you're smelling it and you're tasting it and all of that stuff, you're almost like back in time to that time when you were with them and enjoying it. So in making some of those recipes, it was like, oh. And one of them that I shared, that I couldn't share the first time in the book, because I cried. I cried through writing every recipe. This time, I got emotional sometimes, but I didn't fall apart like I did with the first book. Does that make sense? Yeah, but the one I had a very hard time with sharing and going through it was my mom's baked beans. For whatever reason.
It's funny.
For whatever reason. But every time that I've made it, it's like she's there. She's there with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's I can't explain it. I can't explain it. And the house all smells like, oh.
They are so good. They're good hot.
They're cold.
Cold in a
In a
pot.
sandwich. I remember having bean sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I'm
like,
in.
I know, you've had them.
I'm in.
I know, you've had them. What was your favorite that I've made?
Oh, you know, my memory is Swiss cheese. So, for the summer, honestly, the cake you made this week,
The boule de rose?
that's the one, boule de rose.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, just really tasted like Portugal to me.
Yes. Yeah,
You
it
know,
did.
when we're over and we stop at somebody's house and they offer us tea and a cake, that's kind of the underlying flavor
Yep.
that you get in so many of the pastries and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the cake-based ones.
Yeah.
So that was really my favorite because that immediately had an emotional connection. Right? That just made me think of being with our friends and family. So that was my favorite, and I know that was a trickier one to make.
Yes.
That was and not because it was hard, just because the instructions were non-existent.
It was non-existent.
But it turned out.
Yeah.
It turned out just wonderful.
Yeah.
And we definitely overindulged in that one.
Yes, we did. We did.
We started with a polite piece, and then
And we're like, oh, we'll give this away. We just take a slice, and the rest we'll give away. And then one slice turned into another slice, and to another slice, and then it's well, it's too late to bring it over to anybody, so let's cover it up for tomorrow. And then tomorrow became, let's have another little slice with coffee, and
while it's fresh.
While it's fresh, yeah.
So that was probably my favorite so far.
That was hard. That was hard to say no to. That was good. That was good. And I hadn't had it in since my mom made it.
Yeah.
Since my mom made it. And that's a long time ago.
So that was
a long time ago.
That was a really good one. That was
Yeah.
So far that was my favorite recipe.
Neat. Nice.
So that was fun.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait till it's completed, and I can't wait. And it is. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. That's a relief.
Yeah, it is a relief. And we'll see. Maybe the people will say and agree with you that, hey, Maria, we've got enough for 2. And if that's the case, then we've got 2 books coming. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, then you've got book 3 ready for next year.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right.
All right, guys.
Time to move on. All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Take care. Yay.
All right, we've got 2.
We got 2 done.
All right, great. Great.